right, we should be live, ready to go. So let me know real quick, mic check 1, 2. How is the audio? And then how is the video, guys? Everyone that's in the live stream. And I want to say thanks for tuning in as well. We have a special treat, a good friend I met through the Digibyte community. His channel is in the description, so definitely go over there, give him a follow. He's called Economic Ninja. He talks about a lot of great stuff about crypto investing, precious metals, the petrodollar, things that's going on, with real estate. So he talks about a lot of different things. So definitely head over and check him out. And he's a good friend I met. And so I talked on this channel about, 4 months ago when we were talking about Digibyte. And so I'm going to bring him on. He's backstage, and his name is Economic Ninja. Remember, go check him out down in the comment section. And he's very knowledgeable in this space. So Economic Ninja, how are you today, man? And it is a pleasure to talk with you again and bring you on the channel. Is my audio okay?
So, can you hear me, Mike?
I can hear you, buddy.
Can't hear you.
Okay. Live stream said they can hear. Okay. I got you unmuted as well. I can hear you. Audio live stream says they can hear me. Can you hear Economic Ninja okay? And you can't hear me at all, you said, right? Let's see. All right. Testing 1, 2. Someone's in the comments says they can hear us both. So I guess it's maybe just you can't hear me. Let's see. All right.
Ooh, I can't hear you if they can hear me. I just got off another live stream, so you may have me muted on your side.
No, sir. No, sir. I double checked. I do not have you muted. Sorry about the technical difficulties in the live stream, but we still got a lot more people coming in as well. So it says you're.
There we go. There we go. You should hear me now.
Beautiful. I can hear you. Awesome. Nice. Awesome. Can you hear me?
I can. I don't know what just happened there.
No worries, man. We got it going. We got it going.
Caught me drinking my soda and everything.
Hey, so people got a kick out of it in the comment section, so it's all good, brother.
Can you hear me, man? All right, sorry.
No worries, but yeah, so I got quite a bit here. I want to talk maybe about a quick 30 minutes or so, or if we go a little bit longer, I'm definitely open to it. I know you're a busy man, so first thing and foremost, before we kind of dive into the Digibyte project, kind of let the people know, who is Economic Ninja? Because I was talking about, you talk about a lot of different things, not just crypto investing, but you talk about precious metal investing, what's actually happening in the world, the petrodollar, real estate, gas prices. I mean, you talk about the whole 9 yards. So, I mean, your channel's jam-packed. So kind of let the community know that may not be familiar with you. Who is Economic Ninja?
Okay, yeah. So I started becoming an investor when I was 23 years old. Got married, wanted to not only survive but thrive. Be wealthy. Wanted to buy a Ferrari and do all that kind of crazy stuff. So I started in real estate with the whole Rich Dad Poor Dad book. Great book. Started me out. Started flipping homes, buying real estate during a big time. And actually, I'd already been investing in the stock market prior to that in 1999, going into the big .com boom, invested, made some money, actually saw the crash happening and pulled my money out, although I still lost a lot of money, but was able to save my retirement, put it in the bonds before the .com crash. So as I was buying real estate up in the early 2000s, was loving that too, saw the 08 crash happening back in 06, because that's when the mortgage-backed securities were starting to falter, about mid 2005. And I followed those guys from that movie, The Big Short, in real time when nobody knew who they were. I was actually following their work. And so I sold all my real estate except for 3 places and headed for the hills. And then I got involved in investing in oil and actual oil rigs. It was Robert Kiyosaki that personally turned me on to becoming a qualified or accredited investor. And so through all that time, I got into precious metals in 2010 because I saw that the '08 crash was not the end, that there was another big one coming. Learned about real money, and then I got into crypto, and then, oh my gosh, everything changed. And I went from not knowing how to literally reboot a computer to mining cryptocurrency and writing smart contracts. And so everything changed back in 2016 for me. Went through the boom, the bust, and now we're in another boom and getting ready for another bust. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell. That's why I cover a lot of different topics, because I've studied and invested in a lot of different subjects.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely tell just from your videos. I mean, you got a lot of experience in a lot of different avenues, and I mean that comes with experience, right? And so, one thing I kind of want to talk about, which everyone I know is here for, is why Digibyte, right? Why Digibyte? I know me and you did a collab about maybe 4 months ago. I had the pleasure of being on your channel, and we kind of talked about Digibyte and things like that as well. So I want to just briefly bring up the chart here and just show you where it currently sits as we speak here on CoinGecko. And so let me share the screen here.
We're under the top 100, huh? For like the first time since 2014, I think.
And it's so weird because when you look at different platforms, as far as like CoinGecko, CoinMarketCap, you can see CoinGecko has it at 103, and I believe CoinMarketCap has it at 97. So it just kind of depends, on those metrics and everything as well. But I mean, I guess you can say yes, for the sake of this, we're outside of that top 100.
Yeah, well, and the facts are different platforms don't have every project on there right now too, and we're seeing a huge influx of NFT projects that, quite frankly, I believe are going to be like the ICO craze of 2017 when this whole thing pans out. You can only sell so many portraits of stick figures for a ton of money. I think people have lost their mind, quite frankly. They don't realize what an NFT should be used for, but whatever. I guess you got the BitConnect 2.0 kind of thing going on. So the reason why I'm into Digibyte is this. It's very simple. I say if you want to get rich, there's lots of things you can buy. I believe that Digibyte is where Bitcoin was in 2013, quite frankly. And however, it's got a lot of awesome tech behind it. And it's got some tech, because it's open source, that have actually saved some other projects, which is really cool. And that's what Digibyte is. It's about community and helping, right? Making a solution. But quite frankly, I tell people, if you want to change the world, you look into Digibyte. It sounds funny in a day and age where we're talking about crypto projects, and the one thing that everyone's so scared about is a 51% attack. And then you look at Digibyte with its 5 mining algorithms and difficulty adjustments and all these other things that are into it. You go, wait a minute, a lot of these problems have actually been solved over here. But because of a lack of advertising, because there's not a ton of big money behind it right now, it's where Bitcoin was when people were out buying pizzas with it, just because they wanted to show the use case and why it's such a big deal. And those people that were buying Bitcoins or pizzas with Bitcoin, they grew up, they go to work for banks and companies, and they went and sold them on it. And now there's big banks and companies involved in Bitcoin that are saying, hey, we know why this is a big deal, and we want to actually help further the cause. And I just believe that Digibyte's going to be there in the future, but the community is unlike any other that I've ever seen.
I would agree. And then you made a quick video when you were talking. This was maybe 3 days ago, I believe, and you were talking about kind of the differences between Bitcoin and Digibyte, and kind of just how they're so different, but still kind of unique in the same measure. And so I got a quick graph here I want to show you that I think everyone would kind of like as well. Kind of breaks these two down in a nutshell. And so give me 1 second here.
Yeah. It's funny too, talk while you're bringing that up. Digibyte and XRP are usually late to the party. They were late to the party in 2017, and I believe that again this year. So anyway, go ahead with what this is.
And so check this out here. And so this is an older graph just from research that I always kept. And we look at the Bitcoin and Digibyte, when you look at the scalability, of course, Digibyte's more scalable. We look at the speed time, Digibyte's more faster. As you just said, we got the five cryptic algorithms where one pretty much resets itself every 10 days, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the difficulty adjustment, which is in real time. And then you got 21 billion coins, which is mined by 2035. And so I think this is really going to be a big year. And the book Blockchain 2035 talks about that as well, with Jared Tate and everything like that. And so, um,
You
kind of
know,
talk to me about that.
yeah. So you know what's funny is I know a lot of Bitcoin maximalists out there, and what's really interesting is because and I get it. You know, Bitcoin's first to market, its first mover advantage, all that kind of stuff. It has a lot of money behind it. The thing is that sometimes in life, it's always the easiest thing that's right in front of you that people just go, well, that can't work because it's too easy. You're like, no, that's why it's gonna work. And it sounds funny, you know, we just talked about the 51% attack. You're like, well, that's been taken care of with Digibyte, right? And then we talk about, you know, what's this, you know, Lightning Network, Lightning Network. Why do you need Lightning? Well, because we're slow and we're expensive. And you go, okay, we don't need that with Digibyte. And you start going down all of those paths and you go, and then it sounds funny, but I'm always around people that have just figured it out. They see enough of what's going on with Digibyte and they go, oh my gosh, why isn't this out there? And I'm like, it's very simple. It's because Bitcoin has the big money behind it right now, but that's not always going to last. You know, literally, what made Doge? A couple tweets. That's it. And the sad thing is that people don't realize that. And if you look at Doge, you go, well, Doge is a inflationary coin. They actually make more every year. And the facts are the people that started it own a lot of them. And Digibyte's not like that. It was so perfectly mined. Somebody came along and said, hey, let's make one and let's fix some of the problems with the Bitcoin core protocol and let's add to it, right? Another genius gets along with whoever invented Bitcoin and said, hey, let's make it better. And that's the whole game, is that people will, you know, spin these off and make them better. But then they said, hey, no pre-mining. They did a little bit. I don't remember how much it was. It was not much at all. And then they recorded taking that pre-mine and going and spending it for developers to do some things in the beginning, all super, you know, well documented. And then it was all free, open source, free to anybody. You know, you don't see somebody pre-mining a bunch of investors like with ETH, you know, getting involved. None of that existed. And when people start to have that aha moment, and I've already talked to I did an interview with a fund manager a year and a half ago, and he wanted to, he actually was talking about doing a $50 million Digibyte fund because he loves it. But his problem was, he goes, there's just not enough support behind it where I can ask a question and get it answered immediately. And that is coming. There's, you know, I'm sure we're going to talk about recent shakeups in the future. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And again, I can't find, in 2018 when the market collapsed, there was a lot of FUD out there. Never saw that with Digibyte. I mean, it was, you get on Twitter and it was about, all right, guys, what are we building now? What are we adding to it? You know, Dandelion, what's next? This, that. And it's just like, this is who I want to be around. People that like Yoshi, a developer, it's like, I'm literally about to change the world when it comes to Digibyte. What's on this napkin is about to change the world. He ain't getting paid by anyone to do it. Think about it. You have people that are doing this for free, working on this, open source, use our technology, right? And a lot of people would say, well, that's not a good business model, Ninja. They're just giving it away to all these other projects. And I go, you know what? You know who talks really big about giving things away? What you probably know of the motivational speaker. He curses a lot. Do you know what I'm talking about? Talk about
Gary Vee.
That's right. And he tapped into something that's so important. When you give it away for free, people like me and you go, wait a minute. What? They don't want anything from us. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's going to catch on like wildfire, to be honest with you. But I tell people, don't look to make money over here. And boy, that ruffled a lot of feathers. Like, huh, I can't believe the Ninja said that. I said, no, you buy this, you change the world. And you know what's ironic? When you change the world, you become wealthy in way more ways than one.
I agree. And it's not just money, because let's just look at our relationship we've been able to build over the internet, right? Relationships like this, to me, is priceless, right? Because without the internet, we probably wouldn't have came into the same circle unless we met each other. You know what I mean? So when you look at that, I think not just money, but allowing to open other doors. allows you to create relationships, which allows life to be better, right? And I think that's what it's all about. And so when we look at just talking about Digibyte, when you said don't invest into it, I guess to get rich quick. And I tell people, a lot of times when we hear about the stories where people got money really fast, a lot of times they don't tell about how long those people held that asset before it just happened in like 24 to 48 hours. And so to get lucky, I think we have to be already prepared, and already holding that asset and believing on what it can do prior to, oh, I'm going to invest in this because I think it's going to blow up, right? And so when we just kind of look at some of the use cases for Digibyte, I mean, it has the ability to be everyday currency for payment. It's a security protocol, has the digital ID feature. There's a few things I got written down as well where I noticed that besides the digital ID, I think is very clever. They had the Digi Sweep that just launched last month, where people can now kind of recover their lost Digibyte. I think that is massive, man. That is a huge deal. It's called Digi Sweep. And then we also have now payments as well, where people can, accept Digibyte for their businesses online as far as payment, and I mean, there's so many other things that's happening with the project that I think because it doesn't have that huge centralization flashlight on it, a lot of people are missing the boat, right?
Yeah, and they're missing the boat. It sounds funny, but in the last, so I sold my house in 2018, and I say to buy Bitcoin, but because I got to use generic terms with a lot of people, but I actually bought Digibyte with it, and people would laugh and they go, "Oh, well, how'd that work out for you, Mike?" Well, I outpaced Bitcoin the whole time, actually. And people, all they care about is like the price. They don't look at the market cap. All they care about is the price. So look at this is 50,000. This is 5 cents. You're like, it's a little different, And like I said, my thing is changing the world. And if we can change the world, the whole project will explode and be better. And I literally see that every day. You didn't bring up Dandelion. Have you ever used Dandelion on your mobile app?
Well, you had mentioned it, so I didn't mention it again. But Dandelion is where you can kind of like pretty much make your IP address private in so many terms. But yes, I'm familiar with it.
It's awesome. And the thing is it's little things like this that people don't realize. Like, whoa, there's a lot of tech behind this. And I was chatting with Jared Tate the other day, and he goes, honestly, I am so heads down right now, so fired up to get these new changes with the wallet, because it's not only he's dealing with the Bitcoin Core protocol is undergoing some changes, and he's brushing up on his coding language because C++ is the primary language that they use. And he goes, man, it's been a long time since I've done it. So he's brushing up. He's completely reorganized the way the data and how the developers are talking to each other, which is great. He's cleaning things up. And all this came from a tiny feud, which is awesome because now both sides of the feud are fired up and it's decentralized. So like, all right, we'll show you, we'll make it better, and we'll make it better. And I'm like, this is freaking awesome because quite frankly, a lot of people, what made Ethereum great? A split, a feud, people like, hey, I think I do this better. Nah, I can't do it better. And then I'll show you. And the other people are like, man, I'll show you. And it's great, and as long as, Jared's done such an amazing job. I don't know if you've seen any of his update videos. To say he's an eloquent speaker is an understatement. I think Jared is so much smarter than I. But to keep people informed and then getting all these, I saw Yoshi with that tweet about the napkin. And, I was texting back and forth. I'm like, hey, of course, the developer doesn't want to come on there. But I said, anytime you want to put some information out, let me know, because I know there's a company working on a mining rig right now that's solar. I know that there's a company, Anthem ID is working to get their Digibyte blockchain-based encryption set up, to secure your passwords out to more and more people. I know the Digibyte Foundation is out right now working out deals with companies, and they're talking to governments. I mean, literally, there's so much happening. There's so many groups, that are out there right now just pushing out the reality of what Digibyte is. I got to be honest with you. I'm looking at some really exciting times here.
Yeah. And briefly, as you was talking, I was just showing the percentage, and it was like over 249,000% if you bought Digibyte just back in 2015. And so that's just kind of giving some homage of the gains you were talking about. I'm not sure exactly when you bought in.
January of 2017.
All right, let's take a look at
it. Let's see.
And so, and also not to put you under the microscope, we kind of did it last time, but if you're not open, no worries. But I got a price prediction that I shared in like a previous video, which I still stand on. And I want to know what you think about it after we kind of look at this chart here
You got it.
and just see
Wait,
what's your
really
thought.
quick. I'm going back in my mind. It was end of March 2017 is when I bought my first Digibyte. So
End of March 2017.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there she is. Look at her.
Oh
She's so
man,
pretty.
that is crazy. So you bought before even the biggest pump of
Oh
Digibyte.
yeah,
That's
no.
crazy.
Okay, so let's do some math. Let's have some fun here because a lot of people want proof of something. Let's say I put $10 into it. So let's do some math. Let's get some. Come on, we gotta have some fun here because a lot of people don't realize this.
All right.
So what was it? 0.002?
Yes, let me go back. I was gonna pull my calculator up for you. Let's go back to March.
I got it.
Yeah, 0.0002.
So 3 zeros, okay?
Yep.
Okay, so $10 would have bought you 50,000 Digibyte.
Wow.
Right now we're sitting at about 7 cents. So $10 turned into $3,500. Now, a long time ago, I said life changed for me. As a matter of fact, I think I said that in the beginning of the interview. I went from investment to investment to investment. My smallest investment in my entire life was cryptocurrency, and it completely changed my life. Now, you can see where $10, it's crazy, turns into $3,500. It's wild to think, huh?
Yeah.
But this is what happens when you hold. Now, I did a video. I love that you have this chart up because I want to show people something. You want to talk about price predictions? I said in January, I did a video, and I love these timestamp videos that I could do because then we can come back and talk about it later, which, Mike, I know you're going to be next year. I hope to see you in Miami, and we're having a drink together and just laughing out loud, just like, dude, we did it. You know what I mean? But I said in January, I said this year, if you take a chart of 2017, you're going to mimic it. Now, if you don't mind, put the dot on January of this year, 2021. There we go. All right, cool. Perfect. So now if you look at what's scary, I said it's going to exactly mimic. This pump and retracement that we saw this year is identical to the first pump that we saw in 2017. And if you actually pull that thing apart, the one in 2017, your mouth will drop because what's happening, this is a frequency. This is, we're experiencing literally history repeating itself right now. But I said this pump will be so big if you measure the first pump in 2017 and then divide it into the one that we just saw, that'll give you the idea of the next Digibyte price. You see what I'm saying? So if you take that right there and you literally, just take a ruler and you go, well, the first pump in 2017 is about 3 times the size of the one we just experienced in 2021. That means the second pump that we're already going into right now is going to be like 5 to 6 times greater than the one in 2017 on a percentage basis. So if I had to guess and you want a price prediction, I first off, I see $1 Digibyte being no issue in the next couple of years. But if that prediction is correct, the 2017 following the chart pattern, you could be upwards between $3 and $5. So
glad you said that.
Yeah, and is that your
this?
number too? Let me see. So 2021 end of year. So I would be I'm pretty close to end of the year being like 50 cents, honestly. I hope
and that'll put us about a 7.3 billion market cap, which is actually not a lot for how big the market's going to be. And if we just look at where it's at now, 2.4 trillion with 7 billion out of that, that's not a lot of money.
Well, what's Dogecoin's market cap right now?
Like 40 billion or something like that.
Yeah. So think about it. You're talking about a meme coin. It is quite frankly a meme coin that they make more every year. All right. So you get a couple of tweets from Alon. How you doing, Alon? I know you're watching. My point being is that all of a sudden, and he knows what Digibyte is, decides, oh, you know what, this is something that's really awesome and it's super fast and I can use it, or I'm going to throw some tweets out about it. Why wouldn't it go to just say half the market cap, which is obviously over what you and I are talking about?
Right.
So it's totally doable. People that don't understand that are the same people that don't understand what XRP is. Even though you hate it, you gotta see what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. So you see Doge right now, the number eighth, and it's 40.3 billion for the market cap. For Digibyte just reaching a dollar puts it at about 14.6 billion. I mean, that's
Yeah,
crazy. I mean,
yeah,
so doable, right?
yeah. And for the most part, Digibyte always was ahead of Dogecoin, but it was until all of and think about it. How many? Okay, so Robinhood really pushed Dogecoin over the edge. And the facts
Yeah.
are, at first, it was just a derivative. I don't even, do you know if you can actually withdraw Dogecoin off of Robinhood right now?
I don't think you can withdraw any cryptos off. I'm not
Yeah,
sure. I don't think you
it's a
can though.
derivative. Yeah, so it's a total derivative, right? But what happens is when that derivative is spiking in value, everybody all of a sudden equates the real thing, a real exchange where you could pull the real Dogecoin off and put it in your real wallet, right? They equate that to the value. That is a derivative. It's fake. It's not even a Dogecoin, right? But the thing is once all of these apps popped on that are allowing you to buy derivatives of crypto, it absolutely exploded the value. But the problem is it's perceived value. It's not, what's the use case? Yeah,
Right.
sure, you can go to a Mavericks game. Cool. That guy owned Dogecoin before he started talking about that. If people realize that, they go, oh. And then if you think about it, what are they taking their Dogecoin profits with and buying right now? That's the other thing that's really important to understand. So I think there's some amazing projects out there, including Digibyte. There are people, like I said, I've already talked to one fund manager. It was actually about a year ago. I did an interview with him. He wanted to start a $50 million Digibyte fund. And it failed, but the thing is, it didn't fail because he still loves Digibyte. And there's other bankers that they talk to. So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think that this is just my opinion, but I think that Digibyte will be one of those cryptos that really make a lot of silent wealth, a lot of silent millionaires, because it's one of those coins that you don't really hear a lot about. And so I think it's one of those coins when people do be like, man, what coins are pumping? It's already too late because Digibyte's already had its run, right? And so I think it's for those people that's in now that see what Digibyte can do in the future as well. Kind of like you said, not just investing for this bull run, but investing for the long term is how you kind of accumulate your wealth. Because I mean, when you think about it, if you look at most successful investors, rather it's stock market, rather it's crypto, most of them are long-term investors, right? I mean, yeah, there's some people who are successful with trading, but most of them with a lot of wealth are people who held long-term.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just did the math. If you would have bought Digibyte when I bought it and you would have spent $1,000, it'd be worth $350,000 today. So
Wow.
there is a lot of, I know somebody that has literally over 10,000 Ethereum on a paper wallet still to this day because he bought them at 10 cents each. And so he's like, it's just a paper wallet because I know he's got a lot more. And the point is that I'm literally hanging. It's cool. It's like these are the days that are going to define you in two ways. It's like you said, there's some people that all they're doing is trying to buy the next Lambo and or a big fancy house. Those are weak hands. They're in it for a quick buck. And you got people like, I'm ready to change the world. I'm ready to go crush it, but in a
Yeah.
good way. We're gonna feel good about what we did. We're gonna hang out and we're gonna go look at how many lives we were able to help, how many people we were able to help. Literally in the middle of the world burning down right now, and I can't stress that enough. People don't see what's going on with the supply chain stuff. Some crazy stuff going on out there, and it's time more than ever to just buckle down, deal with fundamentals. There's going to be all kinds of crazy flashy coins, DeFi coins, and all kinds of stuff that are going to absolutely fail. And so I am sticking with some. I've got my ones that I like to play with.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a
Oh
100
yeah.
bagger? Yeah, I mean that's awesome. But hey, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I've also had 4 million Doge stolen from me by the government from SWAT teams raiding an exchange. So the point is that you could, and that was when Dogecoin was worthless. I was like $1,000 for the Dogecoin. And
Right.
so my point being is that it's here today, gone tomorrow. All it matters is fundamentals. The project solid? Are the people solid? What are their motives? And then how are you dealing with the tech? Are you storing it right? Are you securing it right? There's a lot of stuff being hacked right now.
I would agree. I would agree. And so for Digibyte, one thing I wanted to say is I think that it's gotten more awareness for investors, but I still don't think a lot of investors have like caught on far as Digibyte. And so I just kind of want to pinpoint just a few things, as in I mentioned real fast earlier in the stream, as in just some use cases for Digibyte. We have the ability for it to be, an everyday payment currency. That within itself gives it so much leverage, right? Number two, it being pretty much unhackable because it has the 5 cryptic algorithms, right? So you can't really 51% hack it. Then you have the store value feature where there's 21 billion coins and they're all going to be mined in just a little bit under 14 years. And I think some people forget how fast, time actually moves, right? And so I think way before we even get to 2030, I mean, we're going to see so much maturity, not just in the crypto space, but in the tech space, which is what crypto is using. And so that's kind of what's your thoughts on that?
So there's a couple other things that you didn't. I mean, so obviously the security protocol portion, like Dandelion, having your anonymity, right? That kind of security. But then we've also got the facts that this is something that doesn't need added tech to be fast. Like I was talking about the Lightning Network. We need Lightning to do this, right? Or we need off-chain transactions to be faster. A lot of projects are needing both of those things right now. Digibyte doesn't. So a lot of people go, was it scalable? Like, well, we don't need the scalable. That's already figured out right now. But then they say, well, what if it gets busier? Cool. So then we could cross that bridge and then we can start looking for our own Lightning Network. I don't think it's going to happen, but we also are dealing with the longest blockchain, UXTO blockchain in existence. So it has already proven the test of time because of literally the amount of blocks that have been transacted on it. And then last but not least, remember, a lot of people don't realize this. A lot of money there are developers all over the world that are being paid to develop Bitcoin. People don't realize that. They talk about its decentralized nature and all that. That is true. But there are developers that are being paid full-time to develop on it for institutions. That is not happening with Digibyte right now. And so what that means is that Digibyte only has one direction to go, and that is up. There are, to run a node on Digibyte is extremely simple. I see people doing it with Raspberry Pis. You don't even have to do that. There's all kinds of ways to run nodes and to make it it's truly decentralized, not only in the way that it was rolled out, but how it's dealt with right now. And honestly, everybody I know that has millions and millions in crypto own Digibyte. And every single time I've talked to a developer, a blockchain developer, they're like, what are you into? And I'm all Digibyte. And they go, it's solid. I love it. And it's like, you just talked enough to these developers. They go, I got Digibyte. But they're over here getting paid to do something else. And there's only a certain amount of time before someone goes, well, what do you mean I can secure all my passwords of this thing? Or, I have a company that will be using Digibyte in the future to secure my companies. When you log on to my company and you start an account, it's going to be right there. We're going to set you up with a Anthem ID. So, it's
Awesome.
going to be right there. Yeah, I'm excited.
And just to kind of elaborate for people that don't know about the Anthem ID, that's pretty much a cryptographic Google authenticator, pretty much in simplest terms, without being too technical.
Yeah, on steroids.
Yeah, so you could literally, you don't need a password or anything. Like, it uses cryptographic technology and algorithms to sign you in. So you don't have to remember it. It's the real deal. And that's the future as well.
Yes, totally. And there's a lot of people that don't want it to be the future because they don't like truly, truly decentralized projects. And I'll give you an example. The reason why I invested in XRP is because the facts are banks and governments don't want to do work with a blockchain that they can't threaten, sue, or put in jail. And so Ripple filled that. They go, hey, you could sue us. I'm making it very simple. They're not going to, which ironically they did. But my point being is that that's who they want to do business with. They don't, a lot of people are like, well, the banks are going to take on Digibyte. No, they're not. I hate to burst your bubble. They're not going to. Why? Because they can't go and sue somebody. They can't find some head of an organization and hold them accountable or, attack them. That's why Monero has just crushed it, or these other privacy coins have crushed it, because so many people see the value in not having someone to jail or threaten, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And so if it was for new investors, because there's a lot of new investors coming into the space. And so for a new investor, if it was just Digibyte or just getting into the crypto space as a whole, from the experience that you've had, what would you tell them on how to be the most successful? Because
Yeah.
these are things that people, always want to hear, right?
Yeah, so I could use a real life scenario. So when everything closed down, let's say in the world, everyone was told to do a certain thing, and everybody fell in line. I was talking about Digibyte, and one of my subscribers, I didn't know it, but went out and bought a pretty good clip. I want to say they spent like, oh gosh, $10,000 or $20,000 and bought it. And they contacted me a while later when it was like 16 cents, 17 cents, and they had $1 million. So it turned into $1 million, and they were just super ecstatic. And they said, what do we do now? I'm like, well, do you have it on your exchange? They said, yeah. I'm like, you got to get it off this exchange. You got to get it into, real, like cold storage, or use like a Trezor. I love the Trezors. I have Nanos too, but I just like the functionality of it. And they said, okay, I don't see how to withdraw it. And they showed me the application. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's not a real Digibyte. That's a derivative. And they're like, well, what's a derivative? And I started explaining to them, that's not a real coin. And so here they made $1 million, and they're super excited. And they're like, well, what do we do? And I go, you need to sell it. And so they're contemplating, oh my gosh, I have to sell this. And ironically, this is right before the last dump, I think in June. And so they had to convert the dollars, which created a taxable event, just because they wanted to buy the real Digibyte and put it on a Trezor or a device. Ironically, literally the next week it started dumping. So if they did it right then and there, they're probably just super stoked. But the point is that what I would tell people is not only learn how to buy it, but learn how to secure it. Because like my 4 million Dogecoin that I'm trying to get back from a government right now, and they're being difficult, Cryptopia, you need ownership of that. So the SWAT team can't grade the offices and say, oh, this is really bad, let's take everybody's crypto. I mean, that's just reality. And so I don't even know what around 4 million Dogecoin are worth right now. It's not even worth bringing it up, but I'm sure it'll give a lot of people in the comment section something to put in there. So
don't worry, I'm gonna give you a price here in a second.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, Mike.
It's at 30 cents. So 4 million times 30 cents will put you at
$1.4 million.
1.2 million. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So, and that's the thing is, and it's that number's going to only go up. There's been times where I fell for a scam and, allowed them to have my private keys. And today that's worth a couple of $1 million in Bitcoin that's gone. And so my thing is learning how to store it, get it in your possession, maintain your private keys. If that's as simple as a paper wallet, if you do that properly, how to use VPNs and literally antivirus and all that stuff. We can go on for days, and I'm sure a lot of people want to, critique antiviruses. But my point being is that do it right. Don't be lazy. You are literally spearheading. You're the tip of the spear right now in this technology. I think it's only like 1% of the world actually owns crypto, real crypto, not Robinhood. So do it right. I mean, get ready. This is going to be legacy wealth if you do it right.
Interesting. This is interesting. I'm gonna let someone who's a little bit more experienced with swapping. So we got a super chat. He says, "How can you swap a Digibyte and vice versa without creating a taxable event?" I mean, this is
that question,
right? I mean, that's like, man, there's.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Right. So I mean, that's a. I try not to talk about taxes too much because it's like so. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to give price predictions, but when you get into taxes, it's like. Because everyone's situation is completely different, right?
It is, yeah. And really, let's put it this way. The way the IRS reads it is it's to be dealt with like a stock. I did a video with Tom Wheelwright on, he's Robert Kiyosaki's accountant, right? And he handles these kind of situations. And so we did a whole thing on crypto taxes. And so I'm not a tax professional. I don't even want to answer that. DeFi and swaps are definitely keeping the IRS on their toes. Let's put it that way. And they are writing code right now to be able to find you. And do I believe they're going to be able to do it? Yeah. And really what it comes down to is it's called on-ramps, the way you turn fiat into a Bitcoin. A long time ago, I used to tell people, if you don't get in now, you're going to be tracked forever. And people just didn't get that. And on-ramps were already invented by the time I was in crypto. So, I bought my first crypto on Coinbase and then Gemini. So the government already has a record of that. But there were people that beforehand were able to script that system, So the facts are there is going to be a way to be tracked. And it's just, I know there's people working on other things in different chains. The problem is you go, yeah, cool, I'm on Pirate Chain now, or I'm on Monero, cool. They know you got it. Yeah, they might not know where it is and all this kind of stuff, but just depending on the off ramp, then how you buy things, that's where I think a lot of people are looking for. I did a story today. Oh, you haven't seen it yet. Second largest mortgage company in the country is going to be taking Bitcoin for mortgages this month. I think it starts.
Man.
I mean, things are happening fast, so it's like, well, we could talk, semantics or whatever all day long about how we get around skirting the IRS. But to be honest with you, you know what I do? And I'm not even joking. I don't pay taxes because I find all of the legal ways not to pay taxes. And the only bummer is it takes work. Like you got to start a business or invest a certain way, and then you don't have to pay taxes on that stuff. Right. I started a cryptocurrency corporation where my crypto in a certain way was wrapped around a company, and that company is making money from cryptocurrency. So I have lots of legal write-offs, So I'm going to be honest with you, and I don't mean to get too deep or philosophical, but to all the people that are trying to save a buck by skirting the system, if you just do it the honest way and work hard and study and go, hey, I'll do it the right way, the legal way, not only are you smarter for it, you're not looking over your back. And that's not what a successful investor needs, to be looking over his back, wondering, why is the IRS just sending me a letter? It's just like, I get the arguments of we need a free society, we need to break away. I get all that. The problem is we also have to realize where we are in this day and age.
Well said, well said. And I think the gem that you did give, just to highlight it for people that may have missed it, DeFi. And so if you can find a way to potentially maneuver things around to your liking in the DeFi space, there may be a way. And so, I mean, typically that's kind of really all I can say without, saying too much, because it's so black and white. So hopefully, I mean, that at least gave you that direction to kind of go into.
Yeah. And didn't the SEC just announce an investigation into Uniswap?
Yes.
Yeah. And
I mean, so DeFi is coming. I mean, the regulation's coming. So, I mean,
but let's put it back into Digibyte context. How can the SEC go after Uniswap? Well, it's because there's owners of Uniswap. There's a group. It's not decent. I mean, people sit there all day long. Let's decentralize. It's DeFi. Yeah, okay, but it has an organization ahead. I'm pretty sure Uniswap is right now a company, right? If you guys are going to be faster than me, but there's people that you can jail that are a part of Uniswap. So that's, again, going back to Digibyte, the way they structured it, it's its own animal now. Everyone's just adding to it on these GitHubs and stuff, and they're adding code, and these amazing, brilliant coders are anonymous. So I don't know. I really like Digibyte.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. And so is there anything that you would like, before we get ready to shut down the stream here, is there anything that you would like people to know about Digibyte, or anything that maybe we didn't touch on that you think people should be aware of?
I'm pretty sure all your subscribers are on crypto Twitter, right? On Twitter and hashtagging Digibyte. I mean, that's the number.
Most of them.
yeah. Get to know the community. I think they're amazing. I've gotten to meet a lot of people in person. I've been really blessed to be able to travel a lot with this business. They're all amazing. Quite frankly, they're brilliant human beings all over the earth. What I would highly suggest is run a node. Learn how to run a Digibyte node, and then watch yourself right before it goes live. Get the map. Noah Seidman put together. If you don't follow him, he's amazing. He loves Digibyte too. He put together a platform that actually lets you track where the Digibyte nodes are and what they're doing. And when you see yours start to run and then you see it pop up on that map, you just all of a sudden know, you're like, I'm a part of something big. My computer is taking care of maintaining that decentralized blockchain and that ledger. And all of a sudden, when that happens, a light bulb goes off. It's a difference between investing in something and being a part of something. So I would highly suggest that. And I'm trying to remember the guy on Twitter, Asian guy, super funny too. Gosh, he cracks me up. He's in the Bay Area, and he does all of these. Mike, stop me if you know what I'm talking about. These Digibyte things where he was actually offering to give people a $100 Raspberry Pi if they would run a Digibyte node. He's not doing that right now. It's that whole sense of community, because he knew how big of a deal it was too. And I've chatted with him. I can't get him on an interview, but for years he's been trying to push that idea too. Like, be a part of it. Don't just invest in it, own it. And once we get more and more people owning it, oh, it'll just explode. It'll be exponential.
Yeah, and I think two things with that. I think one, it comes into, of course, the education piece of learning how to run that node, which is it really takes a lot of discipline and responsibility. And then two, I think running a node really comes from those people that really, really believe in the project, right? Because I
Yeah.
think for those people that really run a node for a crypto project, they have full conviction, in that
Yeah.
project.
Well, and if you think about it, running a node can be as easy as doing a full-blown wallet, just desktop wallet on your computer, letting it sit empty, but actually it's speaking with the rest of the network too. So it's one thing to run a node. It's running a node is not like mining, but then just putting a full-blown wallet and allowing it to communicate with the rest of the blockchain. That's extremely easy. You can get I think on the Digibyte website, it gives you instructions on how to do it. And it's like a 10-step process. It says, go here, click this, do this, type in this address, boom, you're done. And it's running. And so just it communicating with the rest of the world helps build that network. So, and it doesn't take any extra energy, any extra bandwidth. It's pretty awesome to do.
Yeah. So we covered a lot and we've talked about Digibyte a lot. And so I really don't have anything else that I really wanted to dig into because we pretty much dug into everything. We looked at, price predictions. Oh, one other thing I got written down here, since you kind of talked about the mining thing.
Yep.
One thing that I thought was pretty big is that Digibyte is now offering like solar power mining. Have you saw that?
Yeah, so I did touch on it. I barely briefly said I know about a company that's coming out with a mining rig that's solar powered, and we haven't seen the full blown ad campaign come out with it yet. But that's super exciting. Don't get me wrong. I think it's super cool. But let me just touch on one other thing: the ability for that new algorithm to just use a CPU to mine. The point is those 5 mining algorithms not only are separate algos, but each one of them they can all use different types of equipment to mine Digibyte. And the really big thing about the CPU mining that I really like is it allows anybody and everybody to participate in it. And that's really cool. So yet one more feature of Digibyte where Bitcoin needs a certain type of miner, Litecoin needs a certain type of miner. Digibyte is not only decentralized in algorithms and all that stuff, it's also decentralized in the mining equipment because people literally in the community said, we can't let, Bill, that doesn't have a lot of money, but he's got this old Dell tower left out. He's got to be able to mine Digibyte and make money like that too. And so you think about the way that these people are thinking. It's so amazing, caring, decentralized, So I think that's awesome. And yeah, the mining rig that's solar powered is going to be awesome. I guarantee you we're going to get Elon Musk's attention with that one.
Yes. And someone kind of asked, like, you briefly talked about it, but someone asked, I'm trying to look for the question, is how many Digibyte did it require? About how to run a Digibyte node, and then how much did it require? And I think you kind of answered that depending on what type of node you're wanting to run. You can just kind of run like an empty wallet, or you can do it a different route. Is that correct?
Yeah, like the ones I wish it's Tom on Digibyte on Twitter, but he had a Raspberry Pi that you plug in, and you have to do some little tweaks to your router, allowing the ports to be certain ports that need to be open so that it can communicate properly with the Raspberry Pi. And then it literally does everything else. It's just maintaining the ledger. It doesn't cost any Digibyte, but like with that setup, you need to buy the Raspberry Pi. And some people already have it all set up. I know, who an awesome person to talk to about this is? Go on to Twitter, look up Digibyte CA, and he is Mike. Let me do this really quick. I'm going to put him on the spot because he has all of the abilities to do this right now. And he talks about it a lot. Let's see. Let me find him. Digibyte CA, California. Okay. He has all this information on how to run a node, how to run the hardware. And he loves teaching other people about doing it.
All right. And so I got one question for you. We got some people that want to ask a few questions because we got about 333 people in here. Do you have about 10 minutes to ask a few questions in the chat?
Let me turn on a fan because I'm sweating my butt off right now.
No worries.
I got to go to a pool party soon. I got my board shorts on. I'm all ready to go. All right.
Nice. All right. So this question here is, and honestly, we kind of talked about this. I don't think they need to burn any circulation, but it says, is there a possibility that Digi starts to burn, eliminating some coins from circulating supply? Well, Digibyte's a deflationary cryptocurrency. And so by 2035, all of the coins will be mined. And so, in my opinion, I don't think they need to burn any coins out of the circulation because they have a plan exactly for those coins. And that's why they went 10 times the amount of circulation as Bitcoin.
Yeah, so you got to realize the motivations about a lot of people that have put these projects together. Because I want you to remember too, a lot of people just have forked projects, put a fancy name on it, and then instituted a couple little things like burning to really get people excited. It causes the price to explode, and then they dump the project. Okay, this has been happening for like 10 years. Um, you don't want a burn in Digibyte, okay? Because again, Digibyte was made for the people. Now, will it get more expensive? Yes, it will. The market cap will go up, which means a Digibyte could be $5, $10. Someday it could be $20, right? But the facts of the matter are, Jared wanted it to be what, 21 billion, 1,000 times more than
Times.
a
Yeah.
Bitcoin, and it to run like Bitcoin. You know, the wallet, the Digibyte core wallet is the exact same one as the Bitcoin core wallet. It's just a mere image, right? But then there's been things that have been put into the code to make it faster and cheaper, okay? Have a higher level of security. The reason why people put these burns into it is it's literally marketing, all right? There's going to be very few, and so they feed on people's insecurities. This is actually a project that's being built to take care of a problem, not just make people wealthy, if that makes sense.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And this question here I think is relevant. He says Digi assets question mark and Digi ID. Now Digi assets is smart contracts on top of Digibyte. And then you have the Digi ID, which gives you the security protocol to Digibyte. And so you want to maybe break that down a little bit or anything I
So
may.
yeah, we've already talked about Digi ID. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right on that. The problem with Digi Assets, it is a smart contract that currently runs about, I believe it's 75 or no 70% of the functionality of an Ethereum smart contract, and they had theirs out years ago before anybody was touting around smart contracts. Digi Assets was out. Okay. Now the one thing I want to point out is that because a lot of people that started with Digibyte in the beginning wanted to be different, they loved marketing the word Digi. They wanted it to be different than the Ethereum smart contracts. So they named it Digi Assets. The problem is people don't know what that means. So it almost seems more like an NFT, but it is actually a smart contract. And not only can Digibyte do NFTs, which they were the first to be able to do that, right? Or I mean, there's other projects doing it, but I'm saying you could have done it with Digibyte. But the facts are, is there's way more functionality in that contract. I wish it was called Digi Contracts. I've talked to Jared about that. He went, yeah, that would have been sweet, but it's decentralized. A lot of people voted and stuff. And I go, well, maybe what we'll do is someday we'll change it. But the cool thing, I'm not even lying. I'm okay with people not realizing it and letting Digibyte simmer a little bit longer because I'm still putting other stuff into it. So I'm okay with this. Win Lambo, I don't worry about it. I'm looking at win Lambo dealership. I'm not trying to think about me. I'm trying to think of how do we change the world. So.
Right, right. And so I guess the people didn't get the Twitter guy that you were talking about. They said, what was the name of that guy again?
All right.
Uh, just
It's
so.
Digibyte spelled out, and then the letters C-A. I'm putting them on the spot.
So I just put it down in the comment section. He's on Twitter, you said, or YouTube?
And I said his name, but it's actually a fake name. So he's on Twitter.
Cool.
And then, yeah, Digibyte C-A. And his actually handle is, oh man, he's got to go tough on me. DGB. You know what? I'm gonna put it in the. I'm gonna text it to you. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll text it to you, and you can put it in later. Sorry.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But someone talking about educating on Digibyte, YouTube Jared Tate, Texas Bitcoin, and you'll see him. It's a 45-minute video and a lecture at a Bitcoin event. I want to say it was in 2015 or 2016. That 45 minutes will light up your life. He talks about why he created Digibyte and what problems it was going to solve, and your mouth will drop. So go YouTube that Texas Bitcoin and Jared Tate, and you'll see it 45 minutes long.
Yeah, and I'll definitely say if you're into reading and want a little bit more deeper dive, get the book Blockchain 2035. I mean, it's a good book. I mean, I tell you, man, after reading the first two chapters, I was ready to change all of my passwords again. I
No,
mean, I was just like, mine was just blown, man. I was like, wow, this makes a lot of sense.
yeah, totally. I'm working on getting that to you, Mike, so you can.
All right, no worries. And so, if we
Yeah,
got any other kind of questions that we haven't already kind of talked about in the chat before we get out of here, go ahead and put it in the live stream now, and we can try to get that answered as best as possible.
sweet.
This person asks, Angel Mike, do I own Digibyte? So you must be a newer subscriber, newer to the channel. But yes, I do own Digibyte. I first purchased Digibyte in last year, back in March.
Yeah.
And then I purchased again in a new portfolio this year. But yes, I do own Digibyte. So I wish I would have bought more back in last year. But hey, I'm glad what I have, though. I got a nice bag. So
It's awesome. Awesome. Well, yeah, and I got to actually jam pretty soon, Mike, if there's no other questions.
yep, we are good to go, man. So I just want to thank everyone for tuning in the live stream. Remember his Economic Ninja YouTube channel is in the description. So definitely go over there, give him a follow. He has great content, and hopefully let's try to get him to 100K. He's like maybe 8,000 away. So let's get him to 100K. He gives great content. So
Yeah.
Economic Ninja, thanks again for coming on, and we have to do this again or come on your channel again sometime in the future.
Yeah, man, definitely. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. You're awesome.
Absolutely. All right, future millionaires. We'll see you next time.